And welcome to the show, everyone. It is your boy, the Crooked Commish. Thank you all for joining us here. Like I said, we are back at it again. It is, of course, draft week. So, the week that we all been waiting for, like I said, on Thursday night, we get to see the first round and get to see what new players are coming to our team to help us win the championship here. So, here in fantasy football as well, we'll kind of talk about the players and answer your questions. If you guys have any questions on how well do you guys think these players will do, these rookies coming in are going to do with their new teams, please drop them in the comments there. We'd love to answer your questions and interact with you guys as much as possible. So, as you guys know, over the last few weeks here, we have been going division by division here, and we've covered a few divisions already. We've done the AFC East and the NFC East. We have done the AFC North and then the AFC and NFC West. So tonight we are going to continue the trend of having a new guest help us talk about these divisions. Tonight we'll have a familiar face that you guys have seen before here at the clubhouse. So please welcome him back. Lee from the Gen Wealth Network is back at it again to talk some more fantasy football here with us. And he brought a new friend with him today. Tonight we will have Neon Peacock on here. He is a Houston Texans fan, so you know he's going to be probably drafting CJ Stroud often and early in most fantasy drafts. So he's going to join us tonight. So please make sure to give him a nice welcome once we bring him onto the show. So without further ado, enough with what I have to say, and let's go ahead and get the show kicked off. And we are back. So, guys, again, thank you for joining us here at the Chicago Clubhouse Network. Like I said, this is draft week. Tuesday night is the main show where we talk Bears talk. So if you guys are any Bears fans out there in the crowd, please go ahead and subscribe to us, because tomorrow night we'll be doing our one and only mock draft. Typically on other shows, we see a lot of mock drafts going on. Hell, I was in part of one earlier this morning. But the main group at the clubhouse only likes to do one and one only mock draft. So they always do it on draft week. So if you guys are interested in that, Tuesday night, like I said, tomorrow night at 8 Central, Chicago Clubhouse Network, we will be doing a mock draft. We have Foul Mouth C, Frank the Tank, T Nick, and JB Stats as well, to kind of kick it all off and break down the Bears draft and who we think that they'll take this year. So hopefully Ryan Poles continues to cook and doesn't burn anything, and he cooks it and it comes out nice and good. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get some of our guests in here. We'll go ahead and start off with my co-host, a guy that you guys are all, I'm sure, very familiar with, a face that you've all seen once or twice before, even though it's not that pretty of a face, but, we work with what we got here. So let's get in my boy, the Mouth from the Bay.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking
What's
about.
good,
I'm
ugly?
fucking pretty. I'm pretty. I'm pretty. I'm a bad man. You motherfucker. To the millions. Actually, like the 5 people that are watching this, it's like, and 3 of them are whites. But I mean, still, it's all good. Like, how's everybody out there? How's it all going?
Good, thank you. I am doing good. I'm happy to hear and see that you are doing good. Still haven't got that facial reconstruction yet, but it's okay. The
No,
GoFundMe
no.
page
I
will
mean,
be up and running soon. So,
you're the only
but
one looking like a bullhole. Oh, you're 24/7. I mean,
hey, tonight's not about me. Tonight's not about me. All right, so we'll not make it about me.
kiss it, man. I mean, just kiss it, motherfucker.
Let's go ahead and get our guest in here. Like I said, a very familiar face that you guys have seen before. We have Lee from Gen Wealth Network. Lee,
Strong J, come
welcome
on,
back to the
bring him in,
Hey,
bring him in,
Mouth,
bring him in, bring him
Commish,
in, bring
thanks
him
for
in.
having me.
There you go. Always
Absolutely.
good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yes, sir. That's your. We always like to tell our guests that we have on, hey, come back and Lee listened to us and it was
Man,
able
you
to find his
listen.
way back to the show.
Hey, just like Friday, you brought your ass back. That's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Go drop a deuce and get your ass back.
Double flush that thing too. But let's go ahead and get in our new guest here. Like I said, he is a Houston Texans fan. First time here at the clubhouse, so we always like new members here to help us grow. The more members in the clubhouse, like I said, the better it is. So please give a nice warm welcome to our boy Peacock from the Peacock Network, right? Or
Hey,
the
what's
Neon
up?
Peacock
Yes,
Network.
sir. Bring him
Right,
in,
yeah.
bring him in,
Welcome.
bring him in.
Self-sponsored neonpeacockmerch.com. But yeah, thank you guys for inviting me into the clubhouse
Absolutely.
to be an official member here with the Chicago Clubhouse. Man, you guys do great work here, and it's really cool to be invited by other fantasy pundits and football fans alike. So
I mean,
just
I just
appreciate
heard
you
20.
guys.
I just heard 20% off merch. That's all I heard. 20% off merch.
There is a sale going on right now. There's a sale going on right now. And I'll get you all the details when we get there. But yeah, if you guys want to check it
Get
out,
that fire sale. Get that fire
yeah,
sale. I like it. I like
all together, neonpeacockmerch.com. Yeah, great stuff. I do graphic work for the Gen Wealth Net. I work in tandem with Lee here, who provides the news for us on our morning podcast, Wake Your Game Up, and then we do other things. And it was cool chopping it up with you earlier today, Commish, also on the mock draft.
Nice.
Yeah, it's always fun to do those and stuff like that. We definitely, I notice you guys definitely like to shake it up and stuff, and not always go so much chalk, with the drafts because it gets a little bit boring that way.
Yeah.
Correct.
So
Oh yeah.
we shook it up a little bit this morning, and like I was saying earlier today, sometimes the shake at the bottom of the bag is the best part. So
Yeah, and I
you
like
know.
that line.
That's where the keep is
But
at.
Exactly.
I mean, there is that too. There is that too. Peacock, please tell us a little bit about yourself. You are a Houston Texans fan. Is that somewhere? Is that you're from Houston and you're kind of born and raised, and that's how you kind of, became a fan? If not, how did you find your way into the Houston fan base?
Yeah, for sure. So actually grew up further south Texas, really close to the border of Mexico down here. I live in McAllen currently. It's a little small city, about 10 minutes from the border, like I said, at the very southern tip of Texas. So further than
Nice.
about 4 hours south of San Antonio, if you want to go South Texas. So that being said, growing up, it was a lot of Cowboys fans in the area, heavily Cowboys influenced, but kind of my dad was a Patriots fan growing up, so I kind of just gravitated towards whatever team was around. Didn't really like everybody hyping up the Cowboys. I was around during that whole Super Bowl run and everything, but I didn't, I was young. I kind of didn't flow well. I kind of liked some of the players, Emmitt Smith and whatever, but I was drawn a little bit more to the Houston Oilers at the time. And just some other teams as well,
Warren Moon was pretty good at that time.
yeah,
So,
he was exactly. So, the air raid, the run and gun stuff that they were doing, the run and shoot, gun and shoot. So, that going on. Plus, I love the colors. Right, it was just that it's called an
that
H
baby
Town
powder.
blue,
Baby
right?
blue.
Right, the Columbia blue that they had on the police cars out there. And then I have family in Houston, so it just made a lot more sense. Don't really travel out to the Dallas Fort Worth area, so no hate, disrespect to the Dallas Cowboys, but yeah, just Houston was more my thing.
No,
So
no, it's okay. Boo,
yeah.
boo.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
okay with that
right.
shit. No,
No,
we're okay with that.
we
Cool.
could definitely, yeah.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So yeah, once
Out there,
the
nobody
yeah
likes Cowboys.
the Oilers kind of disappeared. There was some nasty stuff going on with the stadium wanting the people of Houston to help pay for it, and then the Adams family taking the team to Tennessee and taking the history with it and whatnot. So it's kind of some bad blood there, and I was in limbo for a little bit. So it didn't really have a team for several years. I was kind of just like watching football as a
I
fan,
can see
and I
it.
think that's when I kind of started gravitating towards fantasy football. And then by the
Okay.
time
Oh yeah, I
2000,
mean, hey, I don't care who you are, what your team is. Fantasy football is fucking a brutal bitch.
exactly,
Like,
yeah. So you had to
I
just
mean,
kind of
it really
watch everybody.
is.
And so I started becoming a fan just of football in general. And by the time I hit high school at the end of the 90s, the Houston was rumored to get a team back. And so in 2002, they came back and I was all in again, So couple of rough years, some bad quarterback play, some bad O-line play. But, through all the ups and downs, the way that I looked at it is the expectations were never like super high, so I was always satisfied with watching the Houston Texans. So as opposed to some of these other folks around here who are Dallas Cowboy fans and they just want to commit suicide at the end of
Oh,
every
it's their
season.
year. It's our year. It's our
Yeah.
fucking year.
So
Every
I'm
fucking
happy with
year.
my decision, and the Houston Texans have been pretty kind to me, especially the last 2 years. So really
Yeah,
really
yeah.
enjoying it now. The
CJ
rebrand is
Stroud
phenomenal.
was a great.
Yeah,
So
great draft choice.
let's kind of talk about your team a little bit more here. I'm kind of curious here and like to pick everybody's brain here that comes on here. What are your thoughts of what they did in the offseason? I know they made a few trades. They got rid of some players like Larry Tunsil, ended up getting traded to Washington and whatnot. So what are your thoughts on their overall moves and what they did in the offseason and stuff?
Yeah, some complete overhaul on the offensive line, and that was the main issue last season. I think that was the main glaring spot. Going into the playoffs, you saw them do well in the first round of the playoffs the last 2 seasons, but not necessarily having a lot of consistency on the offensive line. No clear, true like dog out there. You look at the Texans and they had that swarm defense, and you see some guys go out there, and you look at them, Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter and Aziz up the middle, and
That's
it's
Coach.
scary.
That's Coach D'Amico. That's Coach
Exactly.
D'Amico
Yeah,
right there.
coming from San Francisco, that's right. And that's scary. But then on the other side of the ball, you're not too scared because those guys up front, they don't have that dog in them. So I think they needed to rebrand there. And so I'm happy with them shipping out guys like Kendrick Green, who was a bust first round draft pick. They sent him to Philadelphia for a 7th round pick. That was great. That guy never worked out. He was the reason CJ Stroud got concussed versus the New York Jets 2 seasons ago. He was a reason for a lot of the pressure up the middle at left guard. And I don't know if that affected Laramie Tunsil's play or not, but Laramie Tunsil had a ton of false starts, a ton of holding calls. If you recall, there was one play in particular where Nico Collins housed it like 80 yards on the first play of the game versus the Cowboys
Oh yeah,
defense.
yeah, the
Yeah, and
playoffs.
they bring
Yeah.
it back because of an offensive line penalty, and then it's Laramie Tunsil killing you.
Brutal.
So those things, I know that they're
Yeah.
like, oh, he only had like 13 holding calls and like I don't know how many false starts. It's like they were at the most
The
inopportune times.
worst times. Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
and they're
matter when it
drive
happens. No
killers, So
matter when it happens. Yeah.
third downs, things like that. So then on top of that, and I mentioned it at the Gen Wealth a couple of times on some of our shows, the offensive line are out there posting pictures of them with their new Jordans and their Louis Vuitton bags. And I was like, you're an offensive lineman. Like you should be chugging beers and be like on
Thank you.
ATVs at like wrestling
Hey,
matches. So these
Right.
guys are putting on
who's
fashion shows.
it was a Tennessee Titans guy that was with his daughter at a freaking hockey game chugging beers, and then his daughter chugs her freaking
Taylor
shit
Lewan.
right behind him. Like, give me that guy. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
You need
Yeah.
guys
Yeah.
like that. So I think that they, like I said, they're trying to shuffle it up. I know Laramie Tunsil's a great talent, one of the better guys, but he was coming towards the end of his contract.
I
I think it
mean,
was a
he
good
did
time to
show
get
up at
out
the
from
league
under.
high though. He did show up at the league kind of stoned. He might have been stoned most of the time, so he might not have known what's going on. So
They got
I'm
some.
just saying.
They got some stuff down out there in Houston too, so it ain't bad. But but yeah,
I mean,
uh,
he had a little mask on there for a little bit. You know, he might have kept it on. He might have kept it under the helmet. Who knows?
but I think it was an opportune time for them to also get out from underneath his contract, get out in front of that situation, revamp the offensive line. They brought in Cam Robinson. They brought in some other guys to kind of
Okay.
reshuffle and compete, right? And then hopefully, the hope is that they come out of this draft with a couple of offensive linemen so they can really have some depth because
Fuck. I think
you
that's
know,
everybody right
they
now.
need it. They need it. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody should, right? But at pick 25, a little bit of a no man's land. It just depends on who's left. And then if the guys that they don't like are there, will they pivot to another position and will that be a reach? So that's where I'm kind of struggling with what they may do. Nick Caserio, I mentioned it this morning. He is the type of guy to move up in a draft. I think he's the number one GM as far as doing that over the last 4 seasons or so. So I wouldn't count that out, but I also wouldn't count them
So
out trading back. So who
I got a
knows?
question for you. So if they don't go O line, like what would you be okay with? Like what would you
I
be
would
okay with if they don't do O line?
if they don't go O line and there's value at another position, say that there's a tight end like Loveland on the board still at 25. If there's a wide receiver like
Okay.
Amika Abuka, who you can pair up with CJ Stroud again, who'd be a solid number 2, I wouldn't mind that either. A running back, if Hampton is there or whatever, and you have because Joe Mixon will be out of here after this year most likely. So you want to kind of invest in the future. I
We got
wouldn't
Trayvon
mind
Henderson or something like that. One of those
Yeah,
yeah, Travion
Ohio State
Henderson.
kids.
yeah, Henderson
Yeah,
make a
so
pick. Yeah.
and that's like that range there. So maybe they can do that, play with the pick, trade back, get a couple picks in the 30s and 40s instead of taking the 25. It all depends on what's available for Caserio and company when they're there. But I still anticipate them going offense, first, and then maybe still taking a defensive player somewhere along the lines. But they did a lot, on the offseason to bring in defenders on the D line, linebackers. They signed like I don't know how many. The extra guys. They have so many linebackers now. I don't know who's going to start. To be
You
honest, I don't.
still so I got a question. Do you still believe in CJ Stroud? Do you still believe in CJ Stroud to be
Yeah,
that guy that
most definitely. We have a new offensive coordinator in Nick Caley, who's come in from the Los Angeles Rams, who knows how to use and switch up some personnel. Just today, the Texans had a press conference, and when they asked CJ Stroud, about the difference or what he's excited about from last year with Bobby Slowick to this year he said that, hey, I'm running the show. I'm going to get to call the plays. I'm no longer on a leash. I'm not going to, he's not going to be just subject to whatever the coach is calling.
whatever you
Uh,
can call it, yeah.
yeah, so
So
this Nick
You're like
Caley's going to give him a
you're like
little
two
more
or
free
three, get
range,
like 2 or 3 in the huddle and see what was going on
a little
at the
bit more
line
free
type of
range,
thing.
and a lot more pre-snap motion so that he can identify what's going on in the defense. The Rams used twice as much pre-snap motion than the Texans did last year with Nick Caley on offense as the offensive coordinator over there. So bringing him over here. Sorry, as a tight end coach and all that stuff. So bringing that philosophy over here to the Texans, and then him being a tight end coach, and then them re-signing Irv Smith, re-signing Brevin Jordan, and they have Cade Stover, and then of course they still have old ass Dalton Schultz. So I feel like they may use a lot of 2 tight end personnel, like the way Nick Caley did when he was back in New England with Rob Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez, or even a little bit with
I
like
mean,
two slot system like he did with Cooper Kupp and
those, those are 2 pretty good guys though.
yeah, those were the guys I just mentioned on the Texans are nowhere near that. But like I said, if somebody like Loveland is available in the draft, and you have the athletic Brevin Jordan coming back after his ACL injury, Cade Stover in his second year, who ended the season on IR, he had I think a knee issue. But if you get those guys healthy, they're playmakers, pass catchers for CJ Stroud, and kind of incorporate a new system. Like I said, using a lot of pre-snap motion. I'm more
Yeah,
excited to see this because it
they
was
need
really
somebody
So
besides
boring.
Nico.
It was really
They
boring
so
to
with
somebody
that
besides
see.
Nico.
so with that being said, with CJ, do you see him being a top 10 fantasy QB then? Or
Hell no,
at least with,
unless I say
No,
hell
he
no,
wasn't
no.
because I got him last year and he fucking killed me. God
Yeah,
damn it.
no,
I
no,
was kind of warning
his
folks
rookie year was
not to
fine.
grab CJ as maybe in super flexes, yes, and in dynasty early startups, yes, because he's young. They brought in Christian Kirk, who may help a little bit, but
That's
last
a
year
nice pick. That might be a nice pick if he's healthy.
last year was a little bit of it was weird. We saw him sacked, I think, like 64 times. The offensive line was bad, couldn't get a lot of rhythm going. So Nico
Yeah.
Collins missed 5 games with a hamstring injury. Tank Dell went out. He lost Stephon Diggs. He never had all 3 of those guys really for any solid portion of the season. I don't even
Yeah.
think for a complete game, to be honest, did he have all 3 of them on the
Like,
field. So
where's Tank Dill at? Like, that's a big, like literally addition by, like, just not even like anything else. Just a healthy guy that was
yeah,
honestly coming back and doing pretty good things.
he'll probably be a scratch for this entire season with the way that
Yeah.
the injury went. He
He
had
had a
his
really
first
bad
2
injury.
Yeah,
Because
he
it
had
was
his
toward
first
the end of the year, so like that might be like the week, what, like last month of the year type of like
if
playoff
They
he
said
push.
there's no
if
timetable for him to return.
Yeah, that was the news that Lee
Oh
dropped
wow!
earlier today. He had
Because
3
I
surgeries.
know he had a nasty knee injury. It was
Yeah.
nasty. It was like multiple,
Mul- multiple
rips
He was
and
having close to
stuff.
three,
Multiple tears.
surgeries, so yeah.
It was multiple
So
tears, a broken fibula, if I'm not mistaken, and so he had 3 ligaments already surgically repaired on the same leg.
yeah, that's what I was saying, because like he was starting to look kind of good too. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, he was picking it up even that game against the Chiefs. There, he had over 100 yards. And his leg on scoring a touchdown.
He fucking caught a touchdown and fucking or almost caught a touchdown. I don't remember exactly what it was.
It was a touchdown.
Yeah. So I mean,
like 4 points in a pretty close
yeah.
game.
So I mean, that's why I was like, I wasn't sure about the timetable.
One of my favorite players, and I was super excited when they moved up in the draft a couple years ago to select him. They used a couple of later round picks to move up into the third and get him at number 69. Because he's a hometown guy from Houston. So and he was calling it.
Cool.
Yeah, hometown guy.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
From the Houston Cougars, put up tons of production in college as a receiver and also as a returner. And then he called up CJ Stroud and said, "Hey, tell him not to leave this draft without me. Like, come get me." And they moved up. They made some trades and they moved up. They were able to go select Tank Dell. And that little tidbit leads me to the Matthew Golden situation, because he has been kind of vocal saying that, he wants to be selected by Houston. He lives, or I think he grew up in Sugar Land, if I'm not mistaken, which is a little suburb of Houston. Mm-hmm. And he really wants to stay at home. There was a Twitter message that I shared with the guys in the group chat, and he was having a football cap with Ocho Cinco, and somebody asked him about Houston, if Houston was whatever, like where he would want to go, and he's turned around, he pretty much just said like, yeah, Houston's real nice. And so he's been, like I said, somebody who's been kind of vocal. I don't know if he'll be there or if the Texans will have the balls to pull the trigger at 25 if that's the case, or maybe they'll want to move up and go select him. I don't know about
Matthew Golden's like, he's on everybody's board, so I don't know if he's going to be at 25.
Right, and I think he got pushed up everybody's boards a lot too, and so I think he's more of just like a flashy, sexy pick, and not necessarily a safe pick. So I don't know.
One of those things is you just gotta see what's going to happen with these quarterbacks. If these quarterbacks start coming off the board early, then that opens up all the everything else. But if not, then it means everybody's taking positions. They're taking left tackles and edge rushers and linebackers and shit. So.
Very true.
So
it's big about these quarterbacks.
Yeah. Speaking of quarterbacks here, let's go ahead and kind of get into the draft a little bit, talking about each team in your division. Not much to talk about with the one pick being the Tennessee Titans. It's been clear as day that looks like they're going to select Cam Ward. Really not bringing anybody else for any kind of workouts or tryouts or anything like that beyond him. I think earlier in the season or whatnot, it was Abdul Carter they were kind of talking about or talking to in the beginning, but then quickly it's been nothing but Cam Ward chit chatter. Yeah.
Will Levis isn't it?
I mean, mayonnaise man is done, bro. Like
Mayonnaise Levis is not the question.
I mean, like he kind of killed himself with the fucking laterals like 3 times. I mean, doing once is okay. 2-3 times in different games, like.
Lots of turnovers.
I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying he can't be. He cannot be he can't be like salvage. But fuck, that guy destroyed his own stock like a motherfucker. I've never seen anyone tank their own fucking career as bad as that kid in about 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, there was a meme every week of him doing something.
Yeah, like oh my god, like that guy just literally. I think someone torpedoed themselves. Here's the definition of putting your own dick on a block and smashing it with fucking mayonnaise, like his own mayonnaise fucking brand. Like, bro, what are you doing, dude? Like you got like 5 guys on you, and he's like, catch the ball, like go get it, like what the fuck, dude? Like if you just took the sack, you actually might have kicked the field goal and won. It's like, nah, fuck that. I want to lose. Like, let someone take my fucking job. We're like, holy fucking crap. This guy was, I mean, he still might be salvageable. That's insane if you're a Titans fan. I mean, you're going to get Cam Ward. And what do you do with Will Levis, though? He can't, like, it's crazy. Do you keep Will Levis? Like,
they got to shop him. They got to shop him.
But who takes Will Levis? Who takes Will Levis off their hands right now?
I was telling
like,
maybe the Raiders take a little peek at him.
Steelers?
Somebody who doesn't have a quarterback.
Bro, I understand who doesn't have a quarterback, but like, do you want that crazy, like, bad decision at the end of a fucking fourth quarter with 3 minutes left? Like you already know he does not know how to make good decisions.
Yeah, he's
like right. Like so, what I mean, if it's not a free agent type of thing or off of waivers, like he's not better than a 7th fucking round pick. I would be pissed if my team give that up, for him to be my fucking backup. Like if I see him come in the game, my game is already fucking done. I'm changing the channel to something fucking different. I'm leaving the bar. I'm going somewhere else. Like,
good point.
Like fuck my day is done. Right.
Rudolph.
You know what I mean? Like
no, that is
Mason Rudolph is Mason Rudolph has actually won football games in a better fashion than him.
Exactly.
Like the only thing better about Mr. Rudolph is that he got his ass kicked by fucking Myles Garrett with the fucking own helmet. Like the only thing is he probably still got a concussion from that shit. Like that's the only thing. That's the only thing about Mr. Rudolph. He's probably he's got Down syndrome right now.
So
you tell him, Mouth.
So good. So moving on to the next team there, the 5 pick is the Jacksonville Jaguars. So what do you think that they will do? There's a lot of players being linked to them, anywhere from an offensive lineman to Tyler Warren possibly being picked.
I think they go
by them.
Their needs is an interior defender. They need an edge.
I hope they do that. Because
dude, they're gonna go Graham. If Graham's there, they have to go Graham.
They're a wild.
They just like Eric Armstead and like everybody else. Like I mean, a bunch of people retired or moved on. Like they have no one in the middle of that defense. Like they have to do something.
That franchise is a straight mess. From the ownership down, it's a mess.
It really is.
Yeah, they got to move to London.
Peacock,
make us all happy.
I mean, like I never seen anybody ruin a for sure #1 overall pick in Trevor Lawrence. They fucking ruined that kid.
Yeah,
they just ruined him.
They did.
Like I never seen someone that was for sure
like out there. He looks lost.
Like and what's crazy is he still got paid. He still got paid to stay.
They extended him.
So I mean, they got Doug Peterson in there because they thought he was, he won the championship. We can bring him in. Urban Myers, it could get no worse, and it got worse. I'm like, this kid does not look good. I mean, they lost, Evan Ingram. They lost, Christian Kirk. They're going to lose the running back pretty soon. Like, I mean, they don't have anybody they can trust on the offense whatsoever right now. And the best they can do is
just to pick their wide
draft defense at this point. Draft defense at this point, and just get young in defense, and just hope you can stay in the games, and hope that this guy can just keep you close enough to do something in the fourth quarter. That's all I can say. That's what you can do.
And if you draft defense, they can follow the formula of when they had Blake Bortles take them to the AFC Championship game.
Yes, sunshine. Hey, it's all right here. I know. I'm bald too. Somebody says it's fucking shame.
That's hilarious.
It's sunshine right here. It's sunshine right here.
Wax on, wax off.
That's it. The sunshine.
It's like, hey, it's a good thing he's a quarterback and the fucking center doesn't have that shit with the helmet on. Because that would explain why he's missing all his fucking wide receivers.
Yeah, he's been inconsistent. He misses he overthrows or underthrows. Usually overthrows his wide receivers when they're wide open, which is crazy.
And I mean, it's crazy because how consistent he was, in college. Like he hit but I guess when you're fucking 15 yards wide open, everybody's fucking. It's easy for everybody. We all can hit that fucking throw, but in pros, you gotta throw them wide open. You gotta lead your wide receiver into not danger to get your ass blown the fuck up, even though it will be a penalty now because it's not like running loud and Steve Atwater out there anymore. You can't do shit. Not even Chandler Jones or Dawkins anymore. So like.
We'll see if Brian Thomas Jr. can have the same year he had last year too.
Yeah, that's
he's a stud. He's a stud. Yeah, he's a stud.
He's their one shiny piece that they got right now on offense.
Yeah.
So Peacock, I wanted to ask there what did you think of the hit that Al Shazier laid on Sunshine over there? He turned them into lights out over there.
The suspension.
Dirty hit? Not a dirty hit? What say you on that?
The one that led to a suspension and a fine. I think the fine and the suspension was pretty hefty. It was a 3-game suspension for that hit.
So I didn't agree with that.
That in itself, me either. You give him the 1 game. It was kind of bang bang. Look, Trevor Lawrence is known to run the quarterbacks in this last
It's a
season.
late slide.
We saw
That
Patrick
late
Mahomes
slide shit needs to
utilizing
get
the,
changed.
the the late slide kind of. Oh, I'm gonna slide. No, I'm gonna tiptoe on the sideline. Look, Aziz is an aggressive linebacker. I don't fault him for being an aggressive linebacker. He threw a forearm. I get it, but at least he was leading that way. He didn't. He wasn't going to know that Trevor's head was going to end up there. You know what I'm saying? And then he did like a half slide. If you're going to slide, lay down, bro. You know, slide. Don't slide.
Protect yourself.
Don't
Protect yourself.
slide.
Yeah.
Exactly. Don't slide with your whole torso and head exposed. You know.
I think the worst thing for Alzier was the week before when he was on the sideline and he threw that fucking elbow on the sideline.
Yeah.
That's what they did. That's what they used against
they
him.
marked him.
Because I didn't agree at all for 3 games. I said 1 okay if you want to do whatever because he has kind of shown a little bit on the sidelines to lay someone out, but fuck, man, this is football.
It's football.
Can we play football?
And that's
Can we play fucking football?
That's the swarm mentality that D'Amico Ryans talks about and teaches.
I mean, I get it that the guy that's receiving, he's late and he's stretching the fuck out and he has no chance to protect himself. I 100% understand that. Like we're trying to protect these guys. We want to see the marquee people always on Sunday.
Don't slide.
But goddamn, like the marquee people are on the defensive side too. You know, don't we want to see the Ed Reeds and all those guys too?
Yeah, I hear
all right,
you.
Go ahead, Peacock.
I was gonna say, I hear you. You see the guy, if you're a quarterback, you don't slide, 2 yards or a yard and a half in front of the linebacker. You know, you start your slide with time. That way you give yourself time, right? You know, you're getting your yards and you're getting down. And this particular play, there was a first down marker in question. So I believe that's why that contact happened the way it did. And so, if you're going to commit to slide, you got to give the defender like that bubble or that time. That way, that kind of situation doesn't happen. If you slide late, I think that's on the QB. And then once you're a runner, in my opinion, the NFL should change this rule. If they cross the line of scrimmage, you're a
running back or a wide receiver or a QB type of thing. Yeah.
It's weird. Or if you're a QB, or make it QB specific. I mean, I don't know.
Once you get out the pocket, you're no longer a quarterback. Like you can't slide. You gotta. To me, I think that should be something.
Josh Allen.
To me, I think that should be the way.
Lamar Jackson isn't sliding most times. Josh Allen isn't sliding. He's lowering his shoulder. These
guys
are runners.
Is that the Tom Brady rule or the Mahomes rule now? Because that's weird. Because it's like obviously it might be Tom Brady that started it, but I think the Mahomes is the one that made it. Like you can't touch him.
Yeah, it's the new Mahomes.
Someone do anything.
Yeah, because you touch Mahomes, it's a flag coming right out right away.
Oh, we know all about that in the playoff game, the playoff loss.
Oh yeah. Hey, the Super Bowl. I understand. Public fucking Super Bowls.
We're all victims.
Fuck that.
Let's move on to the next team. That in the 15th spot we have the Colts drafting there. And where do you see the Colts going? Do you see them going tight end and getting the Michigan tight end? I know that's somewhere where he's been slotted in a few mock drafts. Or do you see them going on the offensive line?
Bogart at Gen Wealth has been all on. Just give him a tight end. If Warren is there, they're taking him early, and if not, he's sliding Loveland over there. But yeah, if Warren's there, that's the pick for sure. It's a no-brainer for them, right? I believe he's one of the better Swiss Army knife type tight end offensive weapons. They can use him in a lot of things. It would definitely help out a young Anthony Richardson or whoever they're going to start over there, Daniel Jones.
Jones, I think.
Yeah, crazy. It'd probably be Daniel Jones. I mean, error 5, what we call him, is extremely inconsistent. I'd love to see when he was starting versus the Texans. I was so happy every time. I was like, yes, put him in. I don't want to see Joe Flacco or whoever the backup is because they have a potential chance to win the game with the backup instead of.
They have weapons. I mean, Jonathan Taylor, if he stays healthy, he's still a good back too. And
yeah, exactly. The running back over there. The Colts have always had a decent, competitive squad that's they'll win just as many games as they lose, and they're the 1 game behind the Texans or something like that. They're usually fighting for a playoff spot. So,
well, they had Gardner Minshew took them to a playoffs, and then Joe Flacco took them to playoffs.
And we quit.
But Anthony Richardson, the fucking 5th pick overall, can't do shit. Like I mean,
he's tapping out.
I mean.
Dude. And then that was bizarre. I think that's what really kind of killed a lot of his credibility and whatnot, especially the guys in the locker room. Everybody was so perplexed and befuddled to see a QB, say, "Hey, I need out because I'm tired."
I'm tired.
The next play was a handoff. Whenever you're tired, you say, "Hey, I need a break or whatever." The very next play, you just hand it off. That gives you more than enough time to catch your breath, considering that you're one of these elite athletes.
Yeah,
that was versus the Texans, and I think they chased him around the field.
I literally think he killed his career for that. His career was done after that. Like,
I was very scared on that play. He was scrambling all over the place. They chased him around the field for like 8 seconds. Will Anderson missed sacked, almost sacked him twice on the same play, and then they finally got him, I think, for like a 2-yard loss. But yeah, he ended up tapping out, and then there was a critical third down, and it was 3rd and like 5 or something, and they needed to pick that up to necessarily stay within field goal range late in the game, and it just didn't happen for them.
Like, I understand all of us. I said all 4 of us going to the sideline and throwing up, but this kid is like 20-something years old, supposed to be a specimen.
Exactly.
That's why he got drafted. And I don't give a shit if you ran out fucking 200 yards. If you can't get out there and just fucking move it out there, like, bro, like, I don't want that fucker on my team.
So a short A dot big target like a Loveland or a Warren would fit very nicely to help out a young developing quarterback. So I do think that the tight end would probably be ideal for them to do there, and they have a really good shot of getting the top one in this draft.
If not, they could always grab the tight end from LSU, Taylor.
Yeah, they can wait around, and still pick up something. But error 5, that's right. But yeah, I would imagine that they do. If Warren is there, they snatch him up. Otherwise, I'm not too sure. I think they've kind of.
I mean, if he's there, it's a no-brainer. Like, Tyler Warren's a stud. Like,
that's the no-brainer. I do think that he'll still be there at that position.
You know what Bogey's doing there? Indy's 15. 15. But you know what Bogey's doing there? He's counting every single one of Robinson's mistakes there, or Richardson's mistakes.
50.
You'd be a rich man.
50. That sounds about right. That sounds about right.
His accuracy as a passer was left a lot to be desired. So it's tough to watch.
Yeah. I mean, for fantasy. I mean, there's a couple of guys that drafted in the fantasy and put him in the starter. I'm like, thank you. Can you do that for my week, please? I want you to do that for my week.
You could say who's worse, Will Levis or AR-50 or AR-5.
I would say Levis because at least with Richardson, he can scramble. He runs in touchdowns.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, he did have some good. Hey, we had this conversation. He did have some good games. Don't get me wrong. He has some like 30-point games in his rookie year, so he did blow up before he got hurt, and then he came back this next year, and they did the same thing, and then got hurt, and
he came back down to earth.
The durability, and
came back to earth. Yeah.
He needs to be able to pass effectively in order to protect himself, so he doesn't have to run all the time.
So he can stay in the game. So he stay in the game. Yeah.
We don't know if that's going to happen.
So, yeah, hey, you got to tune in to watch. Tune into the NFL. That's what they're waiting for.
Yeah.
So moving on to your team here, you guys have the 25 pick. Got to ask, is there anything that the Houston Texans can do at that spot that would cause you to have this type of reaction?
Tell me with this.
Yes. So I kind of mentioned it before in the offseason that they've signed like 7 defensive linemen and defensive ends, linebackers. They shored up the secondary. They extended my boy Derek Stingley. They have a great secondary right now. They've traded in. They extended Petrie, and they have CJ Gardner-Johnson. So they're loaded on defense right now. So the one thing that would drive me crazy is if at pick number 25, they take a defensive player at the first round. That would drive me absolutely wild. I don't even care if he's a top-rated guy that falls. It would just kind of break my heart because
you're like, where's he gonna play? At that point, he's like, where's the fuck is he gonna play?
Yeah, exactly.
Like where are you stashing a player at that point? Like, we need an impact player.
Even if it's like a huge impact defensive tackle, because we're rotating old guys on our defensive line like Danico Autry and Mario Edwards, who are up there in age, hovering over 30 and whatnot. That still wouldn't be like, it would make sense, I guess. But that's just D'Amico Ryans probably putting his hands in a little bit too much into the draft. Obviously, there's wide receiver needs, there's offensive line needs, there's running back depth needs. So I would really like for them to address any of those, and I'd be honestly okay. Because for me, pick 25, it's towards the end of the first round, a little bit of no man's land where like, okay, this guy isn't really that good, or am I reaching for this guy? So is it the right time?
I gotta ask you a question. So if one of these guys who needs a quarterback was to trade up and take that 25 pick and you try to trade back, would you be okay with that? Get some
Definitely,
extra draft picks.
yes, I would be totally fine with that because Nick Casario and D'Amico Ryans have kind of lived in the second and third round with these money
Yeah.
picks,
Okay.
and they've made a lot of good selections. Some of these guys that I just talked about, like H2O, Henry Tuatuo, Christian Harris, Tank Dell, they traded up for in the middle of the second round. So some of these guys, pieces that are
Day two guys.
pieces of the
Yeah.
Texans puzzle over there. They've
Well, I mean,
kept around.
D'Amico seeing like the Niners do that same thing, like kind of draft back and get like 2 or 3 different picks and
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't
do
mind
things like
getting an
that. So
extra pick in the 30s or 40s, right?
yeah.
In the future. So I'm totally cool with that trading back. They haven't traded back much from what I can remember, and I don't know about Nick Casario's history from the first round with some of the other teams he's been general manager of, but I do know, and I saw the stats somewhere that he, like I said, is one of the, I think, #1 GM into actually trading up into a spot. So maybe if the board falls differently in front of them, they may even move up from the 25th pick into a middle teens to grab somebody they like.
who
But
would
I
you like
don't
to see
know.
if they did that then?
I would
Who
love
would you
for
like to
them.
see?
I would love for them to maybe trade up a couple spots, give up a third round or an extra third round that they have this year for an offensive lineman like Kelvin Banks from UT, because I don't think that he'll fall to 25, and that would be awesome. You can plug him in right away. He can start for you.
Illinois
And then
joins. Joe,
yeah.
thank you.
Hey, what's up, Illinois?
Go ahead.
You can plug him in, and then you could even like experiment with him moving to outside after he gets some more experience. So that's a great pick right there. He's a stud. He comes from a Texas school. It's a big school, so they like that. They like guys from Texas. They like guys from big schools. It knocks out your offensive line need, and I think the fan base would be happy with it too. So that one I wouldn't mind.
I was going to ask you guys, like, I don't know much about this kid from Missouri who's kind of flying up the draft boards.
Oh, you talking about the Missouri kid?
Yeah, the Missouri kid, like
Membu.
Yeah, like I didn't know much about him.
Yeah.
I didn't know much about him. Like I watched a lot of college, but even I didn't know.
His name's the hottest name right now.
Yeah, that's why. Like
overall line,
like
goes off the board.
That's why. Like I mean,
he's got good size.
Above a Campbell and Banks, like so, like I mean, like for any of us, I'm sure we would love to have him, but for me, like I was wondering if you guys had heard anything about it because I didn't know until this whole draft, the process started happening. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, just because of the draft process and people having him high. I think that's where I got information from him, and then I figured, well, he's not going to be there, so I haven't even really much for the Texans anyway.
That's why I was asking if you guys had seen anything or know anything about it because I don't know much about the guy, and like obviously Missouri is not always on TV, so we don't get to watch a whole lot of him unless you're in that kind of like that region or something.
I got to go back and I guess look at the film and see why the consensus on him is so high. But I just figured like he won't be there for the Texans, so I'm not too worried. I know
the longest time, like, because like LSU kid.
So from what I understand, so Will Campbell is still more or less the main offensive lineman guy, the top guy there. The issue with him that they're worried about at tackle is his arms may be a little
short arms.
So he may be a guard.
Everybody has short arms.
We got spare fingers. We got spare fingers.
So if he may be a guard, if he's a guard, they're still saying he's going to be a good guard and stuff. But what's his name again? Amukbu or Membu?
I don't know.
Yes, that guy. So yes, good size with him, and he moves well for a lineman as well. Doesn't necessarily have the arm issues and whatnot, but I think not playing for a big major school, Missouri, like you're kind of saying, it's not like as good as LSU or whatnot. So, but
he's not Missouri, Texas. He's definitely gone up. Like I heard a lot about him, so I'm like, that's what I was asking you guys. If you guys know more than me, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Like,
yeah, that's probably coming from Missouri.
At first, it was him. It was Will Campbell and Banks that were mostly talked about at the beginning. That was going the top thing. But then lately, as it went on, I think that more tape went out on Banks. People just weren't liking him as much, and just were kind of falling in love with the Missouri kid and stuff as far as his size and whatnot. Didn't get beat too much as well. He had a great
pro day too.
Yeah, if you have great pro days or combines, you'll start to shoot up, or a good Senior Bowl or whatever it is.
Hey,
yeah,
I like this. Do your research, Mouth.
This fucking people. Yeah, I know this motherfucker. She didn't even know who the fuck I'm talking about. Go sit your ass in the corner.
A lot of people also had Isaiah Simmons had Simmons go in or mock to the Texans. I'm just kind of worried about his injury history. You want somebody who's kind of ready to go. I don't think that'd be a smart pick for them. So somebody that I'm kind of like he's been off my board as far as the Texans go. But other options for offensive linemen would be what's his name, Brooks from
Okay.
Alabama.
The Bama
Brooks,
kid, yeah.
right, yeah.
Okay.
So he'd probably be available there, and I'd be okay with that pick as well. And then, of course, man, if there's a wide receiver like Emeka Egbuka, who's a solid number 2 wide receiver, used to play with CJ Stroud, if by any chance he falls all the way to 25, which I don't think so, because he's been shooting up boards. He's a good, safe wide receiver, so maybe he will still be there at this point. I wouldn't mind them leaning over and just solidifying another target for CJ Stroud on offense.
Well, I could see the Texans.
Speaking of that guy, I want to ask you, that was one of the questions I kind of had at the back of my mind. If at the 25 spot you were to have Egbuka being there and also Travion Henderson, which one would you feel is the best fit for your team? That could make the bigger impact.
Either or, I think.
Yeah,
no, I know,
that's
but
really close.
Let me.
Yeah, because you could see Henderson pairing up with Mixon very nicely to kind of lighten the load, and then see if maybe he takes over. But I think that the long-term selection with Egbuka there, the history with CJ Stroud. I did hear CJ Stroud talk about him today. Says that he thinks that he'll be a nice vet in the league. That he'll do everything that you ask. He blocks. He has good routes. He came in with a good work ethic. But like if you hear CJ Stroud talk about other receivers in the league that he's played with, like Olave or whatever, he's like, these guys are great, and he should, So I think Emeka doesn't come in and like change your wide receiver room and make it like spectacular. I think he comes in and just makes it solid, and you have a good solid target, which is all you need when you have somebody like Nico Collins who could take over a game and completely dominate. So I'm not too mad at
he definitely showing he's number 1.
Do you think he's the best receiver, or do you think Tet is? Because this comment here saying that Tet has been falling in a lot of drafts and Egbuka's kind of been moving up. So who do you believe is the best wide receiver in this draft class?
Oof. Well, I mean, Ted's probably falling because of like we just mentioned it, right? If you don't perform well, or your scores, some of the things he may have said about watching film in the past that it's come out, so that that may seem to see things kind of drop. I don't believe that he would be there all the way down to 25. He drops all the way that far, but I would be ecstatic with having another big-bodied wide receiver.
Somebody's gonna take him because there's one Al Davis. There's one Al Davis out there, but like, oh, I love this kid. I fucking love him.
Exactly. I can see Jerry Jones taking him.
It's like I don't know. He doesn't watch no fucking film. I know he doesn't pay attention around Sunday, but he runs like a motherfucker. So let's go get him.
He doesn't watch film. Does he play Madden? Let's do it. All right.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
You'll figure it out.
These guys are crazy. You know what I mean? They follow level measurements. Everybody follows level measurements and measurables and.
The Texans, though, are a type of team that will not draft you because of your personality. Like if you don't have the dog, or if you don't have that, whatever, I think that those guys will be turned off, and they'll be like, we're going to look another direction. So they want those leaders, the vocal guys in the locker room, or the ones.
Well, what's funny is like CJ Stroud fucked up that Wonder Lick or that whatever.
Oh yeah, the
test
S2,
S2 score. The MS2, like they whatever. So I mean, and he still went. Whatever he went, that
was a blessing in disguise. That was a blessing in disguise. Because I had him number 1 just on intangibles, size, and everything over Bryce Young. And he was the quarterback that I wanted the Texans to draft. So when Bryce went first, and because CJ dropped because of that score, I was fine with it. And everybody's like, how do you feel about that? And I was like, look, I don't care. The kid can play ball. Like taking a test is taking a test.
Right.
Playing football is playing football. The test has almost nothing to do with or correlation. Who made up that fucking test? Who knows, right? So
some white dude in a fucking office somewhere.
Right. So to me, I was happy that he fell, and I didn't really have any comment about the test. I saw his film and the way he played in the bowl games leading up to the draft, and he kind of showcased the kind of player that he can be in the NFL. So really like that.
I mean,
so I was just thinking something here. It'd be interesting if they eventually incorporate this into the NFL, these teams, if they like make the kids put their playbook on Madden, to where they go and play it and shit like that, to where they're like, listen, if you're going to be playing Madden, you're at least running our playbooks and are studying our plays and shit like that. So you know the route concepts and shit like that. At least
If
when
they
this
aren't doing
game
it
comes
already,
out,
Kyler Murray might have won a championship by now. Who knows? I
we
don't know.
know
But
that Jaden Daniels is
True,
using
true.
VR, and
VR, yeah, that's the newest thing. Yeah.
he's running the simulations at like 7 times the speed of actual game or whatever, so that his reflexes
hey,
and his
that's
process.
insane.
This,
That's smart as fuck though, because everything's that reaction time.
yep.
Like 1, 2, 3, read, 1, 2, 3, 1.
Mhm.
Like these guys have like 1 to 2 per seconds at the most time. Like, two, 3 step, 4, 5 step drop, like 1, 2, 3, ball out, ball out, ball out. And in that time they're looking as they're fucking like who can dude,
It's
and
hard.
if
It's
someone's
tough.
hands up or whatever,
It's not
like, dude,
easy.
anything's crazy.
The Michael Vick's
Anticipation,
experience. You remember
anticipation.
that commercial? The Michael
Yeah.
Vick experience.
Yeah, that
That's
commercial.
Oh my god, that was the best thing ever. My god, I love that commercial.
that's what they have to deal with out there on basically every play, and you have to be able to make those quick decisions, and so training like that mentally, the mental stuff, it has a lot to do with it. So
That's
you've
some next
seen,
level training. I didn't even know about that. That's some next level training.
yeah, you've
That's some
seen some
next
guys though
next.
that they don't have it mentally and they're gifted physically or the talent's there, but if they can't put it all together, then
Yeah,
it's
I
never
mean, if you did, those 2, 3 seconds you think about it, you're not reacting.
you're sacked.
That's yeah, you're done. You're
Sack
done.
fumble.
I mean, and that's
all
on
about
any side of the ball.
it's all about
Yeah,
Mas
that's a good one.
puto, mas puto.
they have the
I
vision.
can see.
They have
Yeah,
the
you know what?
vision.
Yeah, I can see you with that fucking jacket somewhere in the back.
Got to have vision. I like that. Where's that from?
So
That's
guys,
funny.
we have. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. One of the other guys had it loaded on there and stuff. So,
Nice.
but like I said, it's very important for all quarterbacks to have that vision. They got to be able to see the field right, and be able to
Otherwise, you're
fucking
Will
make sure
Levis.
they throw it to their guys and not the opponent's guys. Yeah. Otherwise, you're going like this on the sideline, like saying, "No, why did I throw that ball? Yeah, there goes my
Man,
career."
mayonnaise hands,
Uh,
butterfingers. That's probably why he keeps
so
turning the ball over.
we're good. Yeah, I mean, it's very, very possible. He may have small hands too. If he doesn't have those man hands, the ball slips out very easy.
It's all about Kenny Pickett, the victim of the small hands club. I actually have bigger hands than Kenny Pickett, according to the tape measurement. So it's pretty sad.
Well, that's why they consider you to be a man. So
There we go.
So,
it all makes sense.
yeah, it does. It does. It's funny how it all comes together like that. But real quick, we have like a few minutes left here on the show. Peacock, can you please like I said, I really do appreciate you having you on here. I hope you had fun, talking about chopping it up here.
Pleasure was all mine, man. Thank you.
Yeah, no, please. Like I said, we definitely will more than welcome, or more than likely, and want you back after the draft to kind of talk about what your team did, see if you're happy, what kind of grade are you giving them. So before I have you kind of plug your stuff and kind of get into your stuff, give me a quick breakdown of how do you think the division, the final standings at the end of the year will be for your division here.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I'll go last to first. I think that the Tennessee Titans are still in shambles. If Cam Ward can't turn them around, usually what happens when they select a new quarterback, comes off to a rocky start. Not everybody gets the C.J. Stroud kind of rookie season or the Jaden Daniels. So I don't know if Cam Ward can do it with what Tennessee has and just the team history. It doesn't look like they have much else to help them out right now other than the 2 running backs over there. So I'd probably put them at last, maybe with about 4 to 6 wins. Then we have our Jaguars, who are still in some disarray, needing another wide receiver. Let's see if they fill those situations in the draft. They may be losing Travis Etienne, so a lot of question marks there. And like I mentioned, the Colts always putting together a decent team to at least kind of compete for half the season with the Texans. A lot of the NFL pundits are always putting the Colts to win the division. I think they did it the last 2 years in a row for some reason. And still the Texans ended up winning 10 plus games, 10 games and then a playoff game in the last 2 seasons with DeMeco Ryans and CJ Stroud. So I think the Texans are just building on that. I think Yeah, I think at minimum, yeah, he's been the savior, man. Love Coach Miko Ryans, and much credit to Nick Casario as well for kind of just sticking with the rebuild and fixing the team up. But yeah, I would still put the Texans, not to sound cocky, but I just think the Texans are the better or best team put together. They've kind of been there the last 2 seasons, so I put them at like 10 or 11 wins still. Still trying to find their footing. They're going to drop a couple close games to some good opponents, but hopefully taking the next step and getting to that the past the divisional there and doing something that nobody else has done in Houston in their short.
That's that first place schedule, though, man. That first place schedule is brutal.
Yeah, and they ran into it this last year, and they did. They hit the 10 wins again. It was bumpy, and they had a lot of injuries, and that's the way the season goes sometimes. If and when what team can stay healthy throughout the whole thing or get hot at the right time.
I'm not to talk shit, but it's nice when the division sucks.
It is. It is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. One of the weaker divisions for sure.
There was a lot of turmoil and turnover, and for a while the Texans were at the bottom of that division.
I mean, the Jaguars were supposed to take that leap, and they still haven't.
They took
remember the collapse.
Tennessee's still Tennessee, and
Chargers.
Indianapolis is still doing the same thing.
Hold on.
I was going to say thank the Chargers for knocking the crap out of the Jaguars and just kind of demolishing them in the. Or no, I'm sorry. It was the Jaguars actually coming back and winning that game and then getting their hopes up.
I was going to say, yeah, that's what I thought they were sending.
I know. Playoffs have been lost to a truck.
Oh, good job. It's like, Lisa, what are you talking about? The fuck, bro?
So sorry, Lee.
It's all good. I'm coming for revenge this year. You know it.
I'm sorry, Lee.
It's all good.
Illinois Jones. So Illinois Jones.
Damn, that would hurt. It's like, you got me.
I take you for the team.
Yeah, so Illinois Jones, I do like Nolan over those two guys between the two, and I do agree. The Bears taking a tight end at 10, I just kind of roll my eyes at it. But anyways, Peacock, like I said, we're kind of winding down. Let me finish out the rest of the division on how do you think it's going to break down. You said Houston 1. Who's Houston 2, who's 3, who's 4?
Colts 2, because like I said, I think that they can still compete. They're going to have Daniel Jones there, good running back, decent wide receivers. If they can fill the gaps on defense, like I said, they'll win enough games to compete for the division with Houston. Jacksonville, the Jaggets, man, I don't know what their deal is. That's the Florida team, Florida man. There's always some weird news going out of there. Their mascot wears a bikini. I don't know what's happening with them. The team's in shambles. But they're going to
fucking London and stay there. That's what the fuck it is. They're going to fucking London already.
They'll still win more games than the Tennessee Titans, who are just don't know what they're doing. They fired Mike Vrabel, who's like the best thing that had ever happened to that team in a long time. They got rid of Derrick Henry. They got rid of AJ Brown. Amy Adams-Strunk is running the team into the ground. They're a complete mess. So I don't think Cam Ward is going to help them this year or immediately. But good luck to them in the future, though. But that's the way I think it shakes out.
If he makes it to a second contract, good for him.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
Right. Well, guys, Lee, like I said, we're wrapping up. Just getting to the end of the show.
Houston, Indy, Jacksonville, Tennessee. That order.
Houston, Indy, Jacksonville. Okay, so
Indy, Jacksonville, Tennessee. Same as Peacock.
Mouth, do you see it any differently at all?
I really don't. Like, Houston's been the class for a while, and I don't see anybody in the division doing anything unless. Like CJ Stroud goes down, I think that's the only way that Houston does not win it.
Barring injury.
I agree there,
yeah, barring injury, I don't see any way that Houston's going to win that division.
Yeah, Davis Mills ain't gonna get us so much wins.
So Peacock, actually, before I get to you, Lee, like I said, thank you for coming back and joining us on the show again, coming back to the clubhouse and chopping it up with us. Yeah. Can you please once again let the good people at the clubhouse know where can they find you at?
They can find me in the Gen Wealth tomorrow morning around 11 o'clock Pacific time, and you'll also find Peacock there. You'll find Bogey. You'll find Kidda. You got to find the whole crew there. You can find us almost every single. We'll be live every day for the draft week, so just find us on the Gen Wealth net and
on YouTube and on Facebook, or just on YouTube.
On YouTube. And you can look me up on Facebook, and you'll find me, or you find me on TikTok too.
Yeah, also on the Heart to Start podcast, he'll also broadcast all our Gen Wealth stuff. Look for Miles Peacock on Instagram or on Twitch, and I'm broadcasting there as well. Peacock also, Miles Peacock on my YouTube channel as well. And
I'll hit you up, man.
Yeah, and neonpeacockmerch.com. Check it out. There's a 35%
That's
off
what I'm
sale
saying. Because
happening
I
right
need some
now.
new stuff for my boy. I'm tired
Oh
of the
yeah, dude.
jersey.
And I do collages. I do like those old school bootleg ones or
Mouth, he does
whatever.
the best stuff, man.
I do. It can be done. That's the motto. It can be done.
When he
Hey,
says
I got a
it's
good
done.
imagination. Let
Yeah,
me see what the fuck I can
bring me the idea and I'll cook something up and we'll go back and forth. We'll put it up there and you can get it ordered, man. That's how it works.
Absolutely.
Sweet.
So
But
yeah,
that's it. That's my
I've
plug.
seen some of his work. He does
neonpeacockmerch.com.
awesome. He does like Simpsons caricature, so he can make a caricature of you, but like in the Simpsons kind of format and whatnot.
I do
it looks
paintings. Again, I got
Hey, look
paintings.
at that.
I mean,
That's high
I got
quality
some
stuff,
Caleb.
right?
I got some Caleb Williams ideas for your ass. Let's go.
Perfect, man. I'm always looking to that. That's awesome. Let's do it. Good deal, good deal. But yeah, we'll get in touch. We'll link up, follow each other, and yeah, of course, you can always find me on the Gen Wealth net.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Great.
awesome. So, like I said, we really do appreciate you. Like I said, joining us and coming on. Like I said, we hope that you enjoyed yourself. And
Yeah,
this is
absolutely.
from this is from Mouth and I, and we genuinely do mean this. So.
Come back.
He's out.
Hey,
Clean that shit up. Clean that shit up. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, just anytime, man. Send the invite and I'll make arrangements to be here.
Absolutely.
Really fun. Appreciate it.
And it goes for on our channel. You're welcome anytime.
Likewise. Yeah.
Send me an invite. We'll be there.
All right, Mouth, and that goes for you too, my friend.
Yes, absolutely.
No, Bogey would love to have you.
So Mouth, before
he's like, we'll blaze it up. I can't smoke like kids. I'm inside the house.
You gotta get the wax.
So Mouth, is there? Oh, there you go. Yeah, there. Dab it up.
Um,
Mouth, is there any last words that you have for the folks inside the clubhouse? You want give me a chance.
Just like I do every week, man. Just like I do every week. You know, I appreciate the collabs. I appreciate the new people. I appreciate everybody that comes together every week that we speak, and every time we talk, we get together like just a bunch of knuckleheads that, like I said, we would do the same shit on the couch every day by ourselves, but we're doing it together. You know, and I fucking love this shit. Every week, every time I get into it with anybody else that I meet, absolutely, just keep getting it going. Just keep going, build it up, make it bigger, make it fucking worldwide. Let's go get it. Come on, man.
Well said.
I love it. Thank you. So again, thank you guys. Like I said, everyone in the clubhouse. Tomorrow night we will be on live, the main show. Going to do a mock draft for the Bears. It's the Bears main show, talking Bears talk. So with Foul Mouth C and Frank the Tank, we have T Nick and Mrs. Chicago, and also JB Stats. So tune in tomorrow night, and then on Wednesday night, the night before the draft, the Mouth and I are going to be back. We're going to talk about my division, the NFC North. So, and we may have a My Queens fan joining us as well. Hey, comment there. So, about the talking, all right? So, this is for you too, here.
Talk and shut the fuck up here.
It's only Spanish that motherfucker knows.
Te calmas o te calmas, my grandma would say.
So, anyways, guys, like I said, everyone in there that's watching us, please hit that thumbs up button. Please subscribe to us. We're trying to get to 1,300 subscribers by the end of the year. We're at 1,270, so we're almost there. So if you haven't already subscribed, I would really appreciate it if you could do us a solid and do so. So
spread the word.
Yeah, for sure. Spread the word, spread the love. So guys,
absolutely.
Once again, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Everybody in the clubhouse, thank you so much for watching us. Remember, guys, be safe out there, be good out there. But if you can't be good, damn it, at least be good at it.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.
All right, gentlemen. Yeah, I love it.
Thank you, fellas.
Appreciate you.
Hey, Peacock. Hey,